Dale Jr. and the iconic Budweiser 8 return to the track amid technical difficulties, and Brad Keselowski confirms a 3-car charter max limit. Welcome into the Breaking Bob channel. It's still taking some getting used to saying that, but if you're new here, hit that subscribe button. I'll keep you in the loop for all things NASCAR and motorsports related. On Saturday night, Dale Jr. returned to Florence Motor Speedway with the iconic Budweiser number 8. A long time in the making, Teresa finally let him run the car. We finally have been freed of the Wicked Witch of North Carolina. After missing Friday night due to the NASCAR awards, Dale Jr. showed up on Saturday and was very slow in practice, but made it in on the owner's provisional. Yeah, good luck telling those people at Florence that Dale Jr. wasn't going to run. Yeah, I would love to see you try and keep that man off the track. They would have rioted. But Dale Jr. started at the very back of the pack and worked his way up to second place in 125 laps. Everyone thought, oh my goodness, we might just have a classic in the making here at Florence Motor Speedway at the South Carolina 400. Junior even found himself side by side with the leader on a restart after a caution on lap 195. That was the closest, though, Junior Nation would get to the checkered flag. 31 to go, and the 8-car pulled into the garage. A fuel pump issue ruins Dale Jr.'s magical night. But listen, it was just great to see him back on track. It was exciting more than anything for fans to have that iconic Budweiser number 8 back in our lives, and hopefully he can keep that scheme going at some point in the future, especially the way they made money off of the marketing. I mean, good lord, the die cast and the merchandise sold, it's a cash cow still to this day. Congratulations are in order to Trayton Lapsevich, who did take home the checkered flag for the South Carolina 400. He was the first foreign-born driver to ever win the event. The Canadian-born driver taking the checkered flag, a massive, massive win. Although if you weren't able to be at Florence for the South Carolina 400, if you were like me at home, you probably didn't get to see much, if any, of the South Carolina 400. FloRacing had issues all night. Technical difficulties mired the broadcast. Between the FloRacing home screen, the pixelated racing images, and the pit reporter turned play-by-play guy in the middle of the infield on top of an RV, it was just a disaster for FloRacing broadcasting the event. Florence Motor Speedway President Steve Zdekarius later issued a statement mid-race about the issues in the broadcast. Quote, due to the overwhelming interest and attendance at our racetrack, we experienced internet and infrastructure failures on site that affected our broadcast partners' ability to deliver the race to the fans at home. We apologize for this incident and are working towards providing solutions as we move forward. Now, FloRacing didn't even issue a statement, and that's really disappointing. It's a broadcast service that you have to pay for, and it is pricey, over $40 if you want to do a one-time monthly subscription, but they make you do the yearly one instead. It's about $150 plus per year. It does seem pricey off first initial glance, but you get a lot of racing value. So it's just disappointing to see that FloRacing kind of just said, oh, well, we just kind of phoned it in last night. And once everything went sour, they just didn't have any solutions to fix. It was just, oh, well, we're in a bad area with no service there. It's unacceptable. They knew the demand that Dale Jr. and this Budweiser 8 would bring, the eyeballs coming to the track. It's just a shame for how exciting the event should have been with so many eyeballs on Florence Motor Speedway, and FloRacing has such a great broadcast list of racing events on their catalog. You could really capture a lot of race fans just by this event, potentially, if not pushing them away now because of such a sour event. Now a lot of people will never try it again just because they say, oh, well, I'm not going to invest that money when it's not going to work half the time. So it's just unfortunate all around for race fans, and for FloRacing, hopefully that they can somehow right this wrong for fans, and in the future realize that this demand is just, it's going to be unacceptable to produce something like that from last night. I did tease this at the beginning of the video. This weekend at the NASCAR Awards, Brad Keselowski was talking to the media, and this thing, I think, got skated over a little. I did a video on this late in the spring about how NASCAR was potentially going to limit teams to 3-car charters per team full-time. Brad Keselowski did confirm this to Claire Being Lang on Friday at the media availability at the NASCAR Awards. So Keselowski explaining in the scrum that the new charter agreement allows 3 but not 4 teams per team group. Great conversations going on over here at Charlotte Convention Center. I checked with NASCAR here. Bob Pockrass emailed NASCAR above this level here as we wanted a firm answer on what Keselowski said after the team limits in charter. Those grandfathered in with 4 teams. And yes, a 4th team, if you don't already are grandfathered in, is okay as long as that fourth car is an open team. So Joe Gibbs Racing and Hendrick Motorsports, your fourth car is safe. You are good. You're grandfathered in. Everyone else that wants to add a fourth car, that's fine, but you're going to have to play that open entry game. What 2311 and Front Row Motorsports are having to dangerously do for the 2025 season currently. Initial shock value says, well, Hendrick Motorsports and Joe Gibbs get an unfair advantage. Why do they get a fourth car? Roush had to downsize in the 2000s from 5 to 4 after they got 5 cars into the chase. Why should Hendrick and Joe Gibbs get grandfathered in with 4? Most people in the industry actually do say that the 3-car limit is actually the sweet spot as far as team data. That fourth car starts to take back resources from every other team. So I guess from a performance standpoint, NASCAR wants to maximize each team and have as many teams in the game as possible. That probably means OEMs coming in the future as well, potentially. But it's a weird thing to say, oh, well, we're going to grandfather 2 teams in, but everyone else is going to have to open an entry a team. That's just kind of a weird thing to do. This charter agreement just was kind of murky, and it seems like we just kind of pick and chose random things here. But let me know your thoughts down below on the 3-car charter limit. Do you think it's a good idea, or do you think that those teams that were grandfathered in should have to downsize like everybody else? And of course, if you were a victim of FloRacing on Saturday night, go ahead, vent. This is a safe space in the comments down below. Will you give them another shot? Do you think FloRacing should get the benefit of the doubt for how good their racing catalog is? Again, if you're new here, subscribe to the channel, like this video. It helps me out a ton as far as NASCAR and racing content moving forward. As we get through the offseason together, I promise the clash will be here before we know it. Again, thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more.